Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Pastor's Mailbag. It will most likely be a short video today. Only got 2 questions this week. They were great questions, but should be able to answer them in fairly short order. Before I do, let me just say I hope you're all doing well. I continue to pray for you regularly, and I hope that even in the midst of the challenges we're facing with isolation and other things, that God is finding ways to use those difficulties for good in your life. That is my prayer for each one of you. So the first question is this person says that they've noticed that most pastors have a heresy shelf in their office, a shelf of books with things like the Quran, the Book of Mormon, and whatnot. And the question is, do I have a heresy shelf? And do I think studying other religions is important? I actually do not have a heresy shelf. I think I once owned a copy of the Book of Mormon. Don't know where it is. Don't own a copy of the Quran or other things. I do study a lot of different perspectives within Christianity, but don't have a heresy shelf. Now, that's not because I don't think studying other religions is important. I do. The importance is greatly going to depend on your context. So if you're a missionary in a Muslim country, studying the Quran is an absolute must. If you're a pastor or church planter in Utah, obviously the Book of Mormon becomes very, very important. So I do think studying other religions is important. Part of it is, for me, there are so many other issues that I need to stay current on right now. There's a lot of ethical issues that are very controversial in the church. There's issues of gender and sexuality, social justice. Is that a term we should be using? What does it mean? Is that what the Bible means when the Bible talks about justice? Racial reconciliation, and then what are the philosophical underpinnings of all those things? How are they all connected in some way, which I think in some ways they are, in some ways they aren't. And these things are controversial in the church. They're impacting the way theology is being done in the academy and the things people are thinking in the pews. And so it's really important that I stay up to date on them. And to be honest, with 4 kids, my reading time is less than what I would like to be. I have to be very intentional about carving out time to read. And so when I do, I have to be very strategic about what I read, what I focus on. So right now, that does not leave me with too much time. Hi, Jess. That does not leave me with too much time to study other religions. But I do think it's important, and I hope that as my stage in life progresses and changes, I will have more time to study things like the Quran and other things. So the second question is, how do you talk to your kids about angels and demons? Which is an excellent question, a difficult question, but an excellent one. A lot of people's kids, I think, hear about angels, hear about demons, have questions about those things, and parents need to have a good framework for how to talk to them with their kids. So I would basically counsel you to keep 2 big ideas in your mind. One of them is you want to tell your kids angels and demons are real. They're powerful. There is an entire unseen spiritual realm and spiritual forces that are at work. I think there are often times when we might just feel discouraged, despondent, even depressed, and we're actually under some kind of spiritual attack. Spiritual warfare is real. It does happen in all of our lives, whether we're aware of it or not. And so you do want to affirm there is a spiritual realm. Angels and demons do exist. There are powerful forces at work. On the other hand, I would recommend communicating with your kids that while those things exist, we don't want to be preoccupied with angels and preoccupied with demons. they're real forces at work, but they're not to be the central focus of our attention. There are several times in the Bible where angels appear, and in this story, the angels are so closely identified with God that they're actually referred to as both the angel of the Lord and the Lord within the same passage, because angels are messengers of God. They're doing his bidding. They're his servants. Demons are messengers of Satan. They're doing his bidding. They're his servants. We don't want to get too preoccupied with the messengers that we're not focusing on the actual person who is at work, which is God, or which is Satan. Angels are so closely identified with the work of God in Scripture. What we really want to focus on is God's work and how he is at work, and not be preoccupied with the means or the beings through which he works. Another point is, often when people see angels in the Bible, the angels are so glorious, they appear so marvelous, that the first reaction people have is often to bow down and worship. And the angels always say, don't do that. Don't worship me. I'm just one of God's servants like you. Worship God. Focus on God. And in a similar vein, we want our kids to be focused on God. He's the one at work. The angel or the demon is merely a servant of their master. And so keep those two truths in tension. Angels and demons do exist. There is a spiritual realm that we can't see that is powerful and that is at work. On the other hand, we don't want a preoccupation with angels and demons. We want to focus on God and the way he is at work. That's what's most important. That's what needs to be the center of our focus and the center of our lives. Well, that is it for today. I will again send out another email on Monday asking for your questions. Please don't hesitate to submit any question you have. Chris was not able to join us today, primarily because I only had 2 questions. So, but if we get some more questions next week, Chris would love to join us and would look forward to being part of that conversation. So I hope you guys all have a great week. I look forward to worshiping with you in spirit on Sunday. And we'll see you at the same time, same channel next week. Thanks. Bye, guys.